I believe there's a vacancy.
It's two indomitable forces.
Where's my interpreter when I need him? Hello.
Sylvester Stallone is finally seeing the light and has decided to move out of California, but that seems to make people upset. I personally think that it makes sense, and today we're going to talk about why he made this life-altering decision, and I'm going to show you some clips of him giving his actual take on the situation.
After long, hard consideration, your mother and I have decided it's time to move on and leave the state of California permanently, and we're going to go to Florida. We're going to sell this house.
What? What?
Yep.
Is this a joke?
It's not a joke at all.
Full time. No LA time.
Full time. We already have the place.
Here is where he reveals to his family what was happening.
He goes, pow, pow, pow. I was damn.
Now, unfortunately for them, his daughters did not inherit the acting gene, and it's very clear that this moment was fake for his current reality show, The Family Stallone.
I'm not sure why. You guys can throw a punch, too.
That's right. I'm not sure most of you did even realize he currently has a reality show right now, but you can go watch this video right after that one.
You get a little wistful. You go around and take mental pictures of the place.
You may already be able to tell that I'm somewhat of a Stallone expert, but what makes a boy like me qualified? Well, number one, I'm from Florida. I lived in Philadelphia, and I was an extra on the set of Creed 2. They cut out my main scene, but I did still get that sweet IMDb credit, baby. And it just so happens that I got to meet Dolph Lundgren, and when I waved at Stallone, he passed by and didn't acknowledge me, meaning I'm pretty much an expert on the subject. Moving on.
It's a done deal.
So you're saying a lot of people are moving out of California and doing the same thing you did?
Yeah, about a net of 100,000 people every year move out of California into other states, the plurality of which move to Texas. They're mostly conservatives. There are a lot of entrepreneurs, people who have been driven out of California by the crushing regulatory burden of that state. And that's one of the reasons why the supplemental poverty rate in California is 39% higher proportionally than in Texas.
Here we see these newscasters breaking down the factual information, and it's no secret, many people are leaving California at the moment. My channel is not political, but I think everyone can agree the California taxes are ridiculous, and it has led to everything over there being unbelievably expensive. I recently visited California, and even chain restaurants are markedly more expensive. But to get a burger anywhere nicer than a McDonald's is like $30. Most places in California have prices that rival downtown New York. I think they get away with it because it is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever visited. Truly perfect weather and perfect environment, but how long is that going to be sustainable? Well, a man like Stallone obviously has a lot of money, but that's not on accident. He was a poor man in Philadelphia raised with nothing and understands how lucky he is to have his resources clearly. But when you're that wealthy, mitigating taxes is huge. He's a multimillionaire, and that comes with hefty fees in a state that wants to charge you an arm and a leg just to live there. As someone who has spent time in both states, Florida's a perfectly fine step down from California. Its weather's not as nice, and it's just a little less beautiful in some senses, but it's got all the same stuff generally.
I think it's great when a great champion comes to honor and even press that another great champion be honored. I think that's a great thing.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's a great thing. Now, you know, everybody knows Sly, and what a job he's done. I tell you what, I love his movies, and I don't care if it's Rambo or Rocky. I still don't know which I like better, right? But Sly is a special guy, and he's more shy than you would think. So I won't even tell him, but if you want to say a word, you can, Sly.
Well, no pressure here, right? Okay, no, I want to thank you, Mr. President. It's incredible that you've done this, because it's one thing, I've been so blessed with the Rocky situation and playing that character, and actually, when I was writing it, I'm thinking about inspirations for this Apollo Creed.
This was definitely a clip that surprised me. Whether you love or you hate Donald Trump, you have to agree that Stallone has such an amazing body of work.
Right now, he's throwing a punch here, which makes no sense.
I personally feel no action star back in that day was even comparable. You had people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, he just wasn't as good of an actor. Except for my close personal friend, of course, Dolph Lundgren, obviously. I mean, I know that you're watching, Dolph. Don't worry, it's just that this video is about Stallone, but I'll talk about you soon, pal. We also hear a brief mention of the character Apollo Creed, and it should be noted that tells you a lot about Stallone as a human and his circumstances growing up.
So you came all the way over here to tell me that?
Funny enough, I've also lived in Philadelphia for a few years of my life, as I mentioned, and it's a beautiful mixture of many different cultures. And when I say that, I don't just mean that there were other races, but I genuinely mean it's a beautiful mix of culture. Living there, I met people from every single continent and even worked in Chinatown for over a year, which was like stepping into a whole other reality. That's just true beauty in my eyes of a city like Philadelphia, where he grew up. Therefore, when Stallone got his chance to make a big motion picture, you will notice all of his best opponents come from a completely different background than himself. This type of writing is not a mistake and actually shows a lot about the way that he looks at the world.
Say I love everyone. Why didn't I just try to get along?
So whether you believe in his politics or not, he's a man that supports all people.
I'm not a political animal in the sense that you don't see me out campaigning. I don't do any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know what a Republican was until I did Rambo, and I went, oh, I'm a Republican. I swear to you.
Wow.
Because I had a politically agnostic household. When Reagan came out and went, Rambo's a Republican, you know, Rambo was a flag waver. I just thought he was a very patriotic person. I wasn't making a damn political statement.
Right.
But oh my God, it was on. It was on. And then Reagan, who was a nice guy, goes, after seeing Rambo, I know what to do in Libya. I go, stop! Stop! You know what I mean? It's a movie.
And here we see Stallone come out and discuss his personal worldview. He's not an extremist, just an old school Republican. Not a worldview that I personally hold, but one that I do respect as I do all other worldviews. But there's no way to box Sylvester Stallone into a political affiliation because he's far more than that.
I said, the one thing I haven't done, why you are the way you are.
Whether you love him or not, he has had bounding effects on the genre of action films and the medium of film in general.
The most important thing are who are the players.
For those who find that to be an exaggeration, just watch the first Rambo film. His character of Rambo does not talk until the very end of the film when he delivers one of the most beautiful monologues of all time. Other than that, we follow John Rambo as a character, telling the story completely through body language. It's just such a captivating film that many people don't even know that fact because he speaks with his movement so well that you almost convince yourself that he spoke throughout the film. I mean, I thought that. And if Sylvester Stallone can teach you anything, it is that no matter who you are or where you come from, you can and will be great.
It was great just watching every day was like a privilege.